Okay, so in this example, we're going to do another sell example. We're going to be talking about pound USD on the 60 minutes. Okay, so this is a different time frame now. Same concept applies. We're going to do a sell side aspect. Now we're going to go jump straight into the sell. Let's say there's a sell is already active. So we're going to look at the sell as sell's been going down. He breaches. Sorry, let me put that line there. He breaches. He holds. He goes further down. He breaches. He holds. Okay, he goes further down, he breaches, which is here, and when this breach happened, notice this is the breach area, but the circle where we draw of who's responsible, the movement started here. Okay, so even if we go above the circle and we challenge that, so this is like an example I'm going to show you where it becomes difficult to catch sometimes, and this is fine. You need to learn to let go at times. So I'm going to give an example of when it's difficult. I'm going to give an example when it becomes easy. Okay. So we're going to do both sides of this. So here, when we have this area where the market's just rotating, and then it just bounces up very, very hard, right? So let's start the fading sequence here. We know it's seller's territory below this purple line or below this circle. We know it's seller's territory to begin with. We're watching the buyer momentum fade. So we got the buyers, pull back 80%. Buyers, no higher high, pull back. We're like, Buyers, okay, he's making a higher high, pulling back a little bit. Buyer, full pullback. Okay. Now that he's done a full pullback, we know that, hey man, the buyer's dead. He's got no momentum. Show me that he cannot go up anymore, or his second attempt goes up. He breaches. He goes higher and higher and higher. And then he maintains grounds, and we're like, where the hell did he get that energy from? How the hell did he get that power? Wasn't he dying? This happens sometimes. Where he just gains momentum and then he maintains grounds. Okay? When he maintains ground, we can see he rests only 15% and reactivates. When he reactivates, no higher high, and then he starts to go down and down and down and down and down before you realize it. He's done like a 800% retracement, and you're like, he's gone. He's gone. But he went so swiftly and so quickly that I didn't get a chance to get in. Okay? Now I get this is like a 10-hour movement. You can just jump in anytime, but that's not precision trading. We're not the type of people who just jump in because something's moving. We want to anticipate, not participate. I say this a lot. You want to anticipate, not participate. You participate, you will lose. There is no such thing as an opportunity. If you hear about an opportunity, it's too late. Okay? So, always remember that concept. All right, now, when the market keeps going down and down and down and down, then here's another situation. So we've breached this area now, and responsibility of the guy who moved the move is up here now. Okay? We're still in the seller's territory, so anything below this area is seller's territory. So here comes the sellers, boom, 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 boom. No lower low at this stage. The buyers tried to come in, slight pullback. Buyers tried to come in, no higher high, big pullback. Now, big pullback means, hey man, that buyer is dead. That buyer is dead, but then he gets reactivated. He comes right back up, which means there was no lower low. Okay, that's fine. I'm watching the buyers like a hawk. The buyer's going up, pauses a bit. He goes up, pauses a bit. He goes up, more wicks and stuff like that. He's slowing down. Pauses a bit, no higher high, and then boom. Takes that drop. Now that he's taken that drop, you're like, okay, rubber band man's tired. He's out of his momentum. He's doing his last attempt. He goes up, full turnaround again. You're like, okay, it's time. It's time for me to prepare for my sells. Now, let's do the same thing as we were discussing earlier for the miniature buys and sells. Okay? So let's do the miniature buyers area. Here's the buyer goes up, halts a bit. He goes up again, halts a bit, goes up again, halts. So it's not like it's a fake high. It's actually holding higher and higher. So let's move this line up to here. And then he breaks it, and then he holds below, which means he's no longer in buyer's territory, but rather in a miniature seller's territory. As he goes down, think now as a seller's territory because seller's territory picked up. That's the territory you want because the big boy is also saying seller's territory, right? That's the original that we were watching, the major move. The minor move says seller's territory is also back. As he goes up and he pulls back down, notice no lower lows. He just pokes out and he comes back in. The line stays there, and the guy who starts it all stays up there. Let me draw it up here. Now, if you know this information, do you know where you would keep your stop losses? Right? Think about it for a moment. If you know this information, now you have a better understanding of where your stop loss should be. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. The market pushes back up. He does the same thing again. He does it one more time again. He bounces off this area, goes up higher, halt, 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 retracement. Struggle up, struggle up, struggle up, struggle up, death. No higher high sequence in this area. So any area that you activate a sell in here is a higher odds that your trade is going to be more fruitful. Okay? And this one is the one that works. So I hope you can see the difference between when a trade is fun to catch, or more, it's much more smoother to catch, something like this, versus when a trade just runs away and you're like, okay, next time. Don't worry, this is just pound USD. Dude, there's a million pairs out there. There's a lot of pairs. Okay, if you aren't focusing on the major stuff, there are like 27 good pairs out there. Okay, like pound USD, pound CAD, pound New Zealand, and then USD CAD, USD Yen, you know, all the major stuff and all that stuff. There's so many options. Don't force your opinion on it. Don't force your opinion. Let it give you an opportunity, then you take it. If it doesn't give you one, you leave it alone. Okay, so hopefully this example was useful. On to the next practice example.